Welcome to the channel. I'm Tony the Technician. Today we're going to be going into the Harbor Freight website and checking out some of the best options as far as pliers. Now they have a lot and I basically just have 10 sets here. This is just some of the 10 that I think are worth it. Now there are many others, but we'd be here all day. So if you guys want a continuation of this video, please feel free to drop a comment down below. So I tried to include at least 3 of the 4 or more. Actually, they have like 6 or more brands, depending on if you're considering locking pliers and things like that. But they primarily have the Pittsburgh, Quinn, Doyle, Icon, and then they have Bremen and maybe another 1 or 2 brands for other types of specific pliers. But I do have at least 3 of the brands that we're going to go over, a couple items from each, and I would like your guys' input on if you guys have used them. I own a few of these sets, not all of them, but some of them I'm speaking more towards the design and quality. I think are well worth it for the price. So first up is actually this Pittsburgh Precision Pliers set. This is a 6-piece set and it is $12. Extremely cheap. Now, are these great quality? No. But they're precision pliers and they work very well for light duty use. Don't go down in the comments and say these things broke the first time I used them. When you're using these like they're a normal pair of pliers. They are not. They are for light duty use. And for that, they have worked very well. I've had mine 6 years, haven't had an issue. Now, while the side cutters and the end nippers are not going to have an edge that lasts forever if you're constantly using them for things that are obviously going to dull them out, I primarily use them for zip ties, strings, small wire, things like that, things that aren't going to necessarily wear them out or make them unusable. You got needle nose pliers, you got long nose pliers, you kind of got a flat bill, an angled pair. So a good variety, especially for $12. If you just need a versatile little set, they work well. They do have comfort grips. Now they do have that molding line down the handles, which you can kind of feel on your hands, but it's a $12 set. I still think it's well worth the price. This one has 4.6 stars with 96% customer recommendation with a total of 313 reviews. Next up, another Pittsburgh product. This is the 11-inch straight and 90-degree offset long reach pliers. So they have a couple different variations of these long reach pliers. Here you can see the other ones. This is a 20-degree offset and a 45-degree angled. And I've had these, once again, probably about the same amount of time that I've had that precision set, going on 7, close to 8 years. And I have, 2 or 3 sets of long reach pliers like this. And while no, these do not compare to my Knipex, these are the first ones I owned and I haven't had an issue with them. No, they don't have the best finish on them and some of the teeth don't always line up. And there may be a gap, like especially on the angled set, but they work really well for anything I've needed them to. Just having a pair of long reach pliers can be extremely handy. This is literally $10 for the 2-piece set. And while they aren't necessarily the highest quality, you're shopping at Harbor Freight. As long as you know what you're going to be using these for, I think they're fantastic for the price. These have 4.7 stars with a 98% customer recommendation with a total of 635 reviews. Next up is probably one of my favorites, not necessarily one of the most commonly used ones, but still a fantastic set to have around. So I don't have this specific set. I have the ones without the weird looking handles, this double bubble wing looking handle set. I don't necessarily ever see these ones in the store where I go to Harbor Freight. They always have just the standard handle ones like what you see down here. But with this head design, this is the hose grip pliers, if I forgot to mention that, the 3-piece set. Same thing, just a different handle design. And these are fantastic, not just for, not necessarily radiator hoses, but windshield washer, reservoir hoses, small fuel line, heater core hoses, things like that. Absolutely fantastic, especially when they're kind of seized on. You can simply just grab these, twist the hose back and forth, and it really helps get that hose off. Now, something else that these pliers are absolutely fantastic for are removing a certain couple styles of electrical connectors where you had to pinch both sides or you had to hold one side and pinch the other. This makes that really easy, especially if you're in like a really awkward area. Having the reach and basically a fork or a tooth come down on each side can really make some of those electrical connectors much easier. This 3-piece set is $15. It has 4.8 stars with a 99% customer recommendation and a total of 1,120 reviews. Now we're going to get away from some of the Pittsburgh stuff and get into a few pair from Icon. If you guys know Icon, I am all about brand knockoffs and rebranded tools, just because my biggest thing is I don't care what brand tools you buy as long as you get the best deal for the best tool that gets the job done for you. Not everybody needs the highest quality stuff. Not everybody wants the lowest quality stuff. You want to get the best price stuff that will get the job done for you, and you don't have to worry about it breaking. So I am perfectly happy with rebrands and knockoffs and things like that. But most of the time when you do a knockoff as a company, you make some pretty significant changes, kind of make the tool your own. Icon, no, they have no, I don't think anybody in the Icon engineering department has a brain of their own, because all they do is identical knockoffs. Like most of the time they'll throw a line, like they have a couple tools that you can tell that they've kind of changed a little bit of the looks to, but most 90% of their tools are a complete 100% knockoff, just obviously lower grade material, which is fine because they're able to sell it at a much better price than a lot of the other brands that they imitate, like Knipex and Snap-on. But it's just kind of irritating when they're constantly comparing it to them. We get it. You got a much better price. The quality is not the same. It's not. But if the tool is good enough to get the job done for you, depending on how light duty of work you're going to do, all the way up to if you know you're going to use and abuse this tool, as long as it holds up for the type of work you're doing and you can save some money, that's all that really matters. So even though it's annoying seeing Icon can't come up with any of their own tools, you can still get some pretty dang good deals. So that's my rant. This is the 10-inch pair of the Pliers wrench, very well known from Knipex, some of the best pliers I've ever used. I own a lot of Knipex, and I took a while to actually buy a pair of these, just because at first I thought they were kind of gimmicky, or like I was like, I can use an adjustable wrench or just a regular pair of tongue and groove pliers instead of that. I was like, and they weren't cheap. They were, close to $50. So I just put off buying them for a long time. Well, when I finally got them, they are absolutely amazing, especially if you do any suspension work or alignments or anything like that. This is way better than an adjustable wrench. You barely had to put any pressure. It holds very well on fasteners. It's just a fantastic tool, very versatile, easily adjustable, and very well designed from Knipex. Icon basically has theirs. Now, if you guys don't know, Knipex, their tools are made in Germany, and they have a lot of engineering and really good quality pliers. And here they state the Knipex is $60. You can get them on sale. So sometimes while the Icon stuff can save you money, sometimes I think that the price difference isn't necessarily worth buying the lower quality one. Not saying that the Icon one is going to break or anything like that any sooner than the Knipex might, but if it's like a $5-10 difference between a product, I'm probably just going to go with the Knipex. But something else to think about is warranty. Whether it's Knipex or whatever brand you're buying, if you're buying it online or a different store, if Harbor Freight is easier for you to go to, then that might be the best bet, because warranty process is going to be much easier that route as well. So there are a few things to take into account. But I think this is a fantastic set. This is the 10-inch pair. This one does have 4.8 stars, 98% customer satisfaction or recommendation, with a total of 177 reviews. Next up is the Icon 8-inch slip joint pliers, and just like Snap-on, they imitated the 3 positions up here to a T. I mean, everything about it, really. Even the, what do they call it? The diamond grip or the talon grip? I can't remember. Somebody can let me know down in the comments. I have the Snap-on pair of these. Absolutely fantastic. I love the 3 positions. I like the tooth design. You can really get a good bite on certain items. You do have your open jaw feature. You do have your shearing portion. All around a really good design. And of course, Icon put a lot of thought into how to make these. Overall, a great design for a slip joint pair of pliers. This has 4.9 stars, 99% customer recommendation, with a total of 120 reviews. Next up, I don't have any experience with these, whether the Icon or the Snap-on. So far, all of the tools I have experience with, minus this one, but a good set of flush cut pliers are fantastic. So there's a couple different options. This one's $30, so not too terrible for a higher end pair of flush cuts. This is a 6-inch pair, and there is a difference between flush cuts and diagonal side cutters. If you don't know, flush cuts do have a flush surface here, so when you go to cut a zip tie, you can actually cut it flush with the locking mechanism on the zip tie, so you don't have that 1/8 inch of plastic sticking up ready to cut your forearm open when you go down and reach in the engine bay. So flush cuts are very important when working with zip ties and wires and things like that. Now keep in mind, not all flush cuts are rated the same. Some you are not supposed to use, especially smaller sets, on certain wires. That's more along the lines of diagonal side cutters. So don't go using these on any hard metals or hard wires, because it will damage them, because flush cuts do have a much thinner blade than a diagonal side cutter. But overall, I think they have a good design here. Once again, this is obviously, even though I don't have any experience with the snap-on ones either, this is an exact replica knockoff of the snap-on. Here they have the 7-inch diagonal side cutters for $18, which is kind of crazy. I know a lot more fine tuning goes into the blades of these flush cuts than diagonal side cutters, but the fact that the 6-inch pair is almost double the price of the diagonal side cutters is kind of crazy. So I think this one would really only be worth it if you can get a discount on it. I think it should be priced a little bit closer to the price of the diagonal side cutters. This one has 4.9 stars, 98% customer recommendation, and 194 reviews. Next up, I don't know why it still says new. It is fairly new, but it's been out a couple months now, I want to say. The CONT 8-inch fast adjust push button slip joint pliers. So not only did they copy the snap-on slip joint pliers, but they went ahead and copied the Knipex twin grip pliers. So if you guys don't know about the Knipex twin grips, they released basically the first push button 5-way adjustable slip joint pliers. And not only that, but they include a feature of screw extraction where you have some vertical teeth up in the nose of the pliers. Very, very well made, very popular pliers. And here they state the Knipex ones are $37. These are $20. Don't be fooled. A lot of the times they put the full price of the other products when typically you won't actually see Knipex and Snap-on at those prices. Sometimes close, but like the Knipex will sell usually around the lower 30s, like 30 to 32. And then sometimes I have a few videos on it where the twin grips have actually dropped to like $26 or $27, which is absolutely fantastic. I'm not saying these are bad whatsoever, but for the extra $7, I'm just going to go ahead and get the Knipex. But if you can get the Icon on sale, if you can get these, for roughly $15, that would be a killer deal as well. Now, these do have a little bit more material than the Knipex from the review that I saw, and they did throw this little check mark design in the handle. Other than that, that's the only differences in the tool. But there you can see the push button, exact same tooth design up here as well as far as the open jaw, the portion here where you can pass a wire through, same vertical and horizontal teeth there. But this is basically used for screw extraction, while you can still use them as a standard set of slip joint pliers. Plus you get this push button where you can adjust up to 5 different positions. So absolutely fantastic design, great price on these. If you're not willing to spend the extra $7 to get the Knipex, I think this is a good deal. Once again, Icon working hard and using their brains at their full capacity to come up with their own tools. Great job, guys. Next up, we're done with the Icon for now. This is the Doyle. I think Doyle has a lot of really good pliers, and the only thing to keep in mind is Doyle kind of falls into the mid-tier quality range, but while sometimes they have really good pricing on some stuff, sometimes it's right around that channel lock pricing. So if you want to, get some USA made stuff, kind of consider that. This is going to be much cheaper than the Icon stuff. While the quality is still good, it's going to be around the price range of channel lock. While channel lock doesn't have a lot of tools with fancy features and stuff, or when you do get into the ones that do have more of the fancier features, they do get more expensive, but just something to keep in mind. This style of plier alone is fantastic. Push button, very similar to the Knipex Cobras that I have. Once again, these Doyles, they've added that same check mark design that you just saw in the Icon twin grip knockoffs, which is weird that the Doyle has this design and then they used an icon name on that, but used the Doyle design, I guess. I don't know. But this style is very, very handy. I love the multiple different positions that you can get and how easily it adjusts, and the bite that you get with these and the amount of pressure. It's kind of like the Pliers wrench, but with teeth, obviously. You can just get a really good grip on whatever you're working with. These are available in 8-inch, 10-inch, and 12-inch. These are $18. This one has 4.7 stars with a 95% customer recommendation with 219 reviews. Next up is the Doyle 8-inch. If you're not looking at buying like the Icon snap-on knockoff, then I think this just standard design slip joint plier is a good option from Doyle. Once again, Doyle has good quality stuff for a little bit better price, where I don't think any of the Doyle pliers anybody's really going to be disappointed with. They're just an all-around, pretty solid plier brand. And I do think Harbor Freight has a few too many plier brands. I think they could probably drop one or two of the brands and be just fine. But this 8-inch slip joint plier is a good quality for a really good price at $8. Can't really go wrong with that just standard classic design. This one has 4.8 stars with 100% customer recommendation and 333 reviews. Next up is just if you're not looking at buying the Icon $30 pair of flush cuts, they do have not only these Pittsburgh ones. This is a 5-inch micro flush cut. They also have the Doyle 5-inch precision flush cuts. Now the Doyle is $11. I would hope for the price difference the Doyle would hold a blade a little bit longer. But honestly, I have, 4 different pairs of flush cuts, and I have extremely cheap like Play-Doh ones all the way up to my Fujiya made in Japan ones. And while I absolutely love my Fujiya Japan ones, extremely high quality, extremely good finish, my cheap set works just as good. It just doesn't have as good of a finish. I only 99% of the time I'm cutting zip ties with my flush cuts, so I would really hope that these would hold an edge for quite a while, unless you're using your flush cuts for something a little bit more aggressive. Then possibly step up to a better quality one that may hold an edge a little bit longer. But really, if you're using these for flush cuts, I think $4 for this set, you can't really beat it. No sense in going this route unless you feel like these are going to hold an edge better for other things other than zip ties. So this one at $4 has 4.6 stars with a 95% customer recommendation and 1,314 reviews. So that's it as far as the pliers I believe are worth buying at Harbor Freight. Let me know some of your favorites. And if you guys enjoyed, make sure to smash that thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.